I have a green belt. Read it and weep.
I don't believe in belts. There should be no ranking system for toughness.
All right, Dolphins news is always coming. This time we got a little bit of a good bit of news. I think it's good. We got to see. I'm not saying it's going to change the season, but it's good news. We got some interesting news, and then you got a mea culpa by me today. So the three things I want to get into is my mea culpa on Reggie McKenzie. I got the wrong Reggie McKenzie and his age, and it kind of altered some of the stuff of my evaluation. So I want to cover that, and I want to thank Mick Rack in the comments who pointed that out. Appreciate keeping me on point. Hate to do the mea culpas, but I got to give you good information. Then number two is going to be Bevell's staying. Chip Kelly got hired in Vegas, and Bevell's going to stay here. So that's going to be an important point I want to get into. And then the last one, an interesting one. Dolphins always have interesting stuff. It's the dog versus dog comments between Hill and Achane. So that's going to be the three things that I'm going to get into today. Last point before we dig into it. The live was moved from Friday to Monday night. Tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think I'm going to move it to 9 next week. But tonight, it's 8:30, so come check us out. Curtis & Co., we try to bring as much good information as we can. The guys with me, they bring great information, different viewpoints. The commenters bring stuff in, and we kind of work out to create a pool of thought. And I think it's a good show. So come check us out and see that. So first off, I guess I get out of the way. I had put Reggie McKenzie in there, and somehow in my space brain, I got the wrong Reggie McKenzie. The one who played for the Bills, not the one who played for the Packers. And his age was not 73, it's 61. And I want to thank Mick Rack for pointing out in the comments, helping me to see where I screwed up and keep me giving good information. That's why I love the comments so much. It's a think tank. I don't have all the answers. I hate to screw up like this, so I want to apologize on that. But that he's 61 doesn't kind of lend to my thought that he was just going there to kind of wrap his career up. He's still looking for a GM job. He's still looking to be in the NFL. And for him to go to Tennessee while he has foundations there and family, and that's certainly a big pull, if you're still in the game, you're going to try to find the best spot to enhance your resume so you can continue or even take it a step higher. And so it does feel a little bit like, I won't say rats leaving the ship, but it's clearly McKenzie had this relationship with Tennessee, the area, but I think he's seeing that as likely a better spot. And that's not great news. I'm not saying we didn't have the greatest drafts, and so it doesn't mean we're doomed, but I want to put that out there. I do think it was, at least in part, about finding a better situation. Okay, so that's that. Now, Bevell, Darrell Bevell, I like him. I think he's done a good job. He hasn't been perfect. He's the one who called the pass instead of the run in the Super Bowl with Seattle. It's Emmitt Smith called it the worst call in history. But he's done a good job for us. And Tua is going to have a big year, or else it's going to be a rip apart, big kind of issue. And then even if we draft another quarterback, you want somebody like Bevell. To me, I don't like Frank Smith. I don't think he's very capable. And you can see he's not been interviewed anywhere, and that says a lot. McDaniel, I think, has got so much on his plate. He needs good, experienced guys around him to help take these little parts because he's managing so much. So I like the fact that Bevell's back. I think he's a good coach. I didn't want to see him go. I'm not saying this is going to change us to be a Super Bowl team or whatever, but you need continuity. This is why football is so weird. You know, when you travel and stuff, it gets crazy because everything is set in a regiment style. And when you start pulling coaches out, thankfully, I don't think we're going to lose Weaver. At least there is some semblance of continuity to staff. And the good side is, if you're hoping for success, this will at least keep that continuity so we get the best possible chance to succeed. Now, if you don't believe in us, all this continuity, if we flop, it's going to say it's not the continuity, it's something else and something deeper. So I'm happy he's back. Chip Kelly, left field, and it shows. He wasn't even on my radar. I thought Bevell was going to go there. But Chip Kelly's an interesting character. It's going to make Vegas a very interesting season. I think the guy is good. He's just a little kind of crazy-ish maybe or something. But it definitely was something I didn't anticipate. And it shows you with all these NFL evaluations, NFL is so mercurial and crazy that it was very, very difficult to even see this coming. So that's going to be interesting. Good news. Bevell's back now. Hill saying, we need dogs. We need guys, dogs. And I already did the whole thing. A dog doesn't ever quit. I've had pit bulls. And they fight. And no, they never quit. It's crazy. A true dog, and you could see with Dan Marino, the only time I ever saw Dan Marino not be a dog was in that Jacksonville game where I saw the fire go out of his eyes. But you could be down 21 points with 14 seconds left, and Dan Marino would be screaming, acting like there's a chance to win, because in his mind, it was a no-quit attitude. That's a dog. Hill's not a dog. He's not. But he says we need dogs. I think he should start with himself. Now, Achane came out and said, I don't think it's that we don't have dogs. I think we got dogs, but we need people to bring the dog out of them. And I like Achane because even I don't agree with the eval, because a dog is a dog is a dog. You don't like teach them to be that way. They're just that way. But he was trying to do the right thing for the team. You could see a guy who's not a narcissist, who's a team guy, contrary to Hill. And he was just trying to say good things to stay positive. I think we need to add dogs. I think Achane's a dog. This guy, I remember him last year getting his knee messed up. And I'm like, oh man, is he going to get off the carpet on this one? And he walked off, and he was out for a couple of games. He had a bad knee injury, but he refused to be carried off or limp off. He walked off himself. And this is a smaller kind of guy, big guy, but in the NFL, small guy. And this guy bangs himself, runs hard. He's a dog. And there are dogs on his team. Seal is a dog. Brooks is a dog. But we don't have enough. I think that Achane said the right thing. I don't agree with his evaluation. But God, I do love Achane so much more than Hill. And so this little battle here, I think it shows who these two guys are. Clearly, whether you want to take Achane's viewpoint, we need to get the dogs into these people that are here, and they're not coming out. And Hill saying we have no dogs. Brooks saying we're soft. Elliott saying we're soft. Poyer saying we're soft. Ramsey there is softness here. I think the dogs need to be brought in. There are a few, but I don't think you can really turn guys into dogs. You could turn them into followers of the dogs. I think that's true. I think there's guys here that could be built up to be better. But true dogs, true studs, true never say die, quit, die with your boots on type guys, there's very, very few here. So overall, guys, it's going to be a very interesting season. This draft can add a bunch of dogs, especially dogs in the trenches. We got to hope Greer does not Greer to draft again. He's got all the positioning and ammo to do the right thing to add dogs, talent, and to get these other guys there's a few dogs, but the other guys that are just kind of, they're the followers of the dogs, to get their play up and to get this thing to a point where we can win. I'm still not high on it, but I can flip it depending on how this draft goes. So that's it. Not a huge thing. I've got a Ryder McConneville. He's going to be doing an interview with me later in the week. Odaris, DeHady, he's going to be doing a special thing later in the week. I'm going to try to get some more stuff out to you. I want to do some Banks talk, some draft talk. But that's it for today, guys. Hope all's well. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with acepread.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.